Okay, let's dive in. If you're, really plugged into modern American comedy, you've definitely encountered Jon Glaser, seen his stuff, laughed at it, maybe even been a little confused by it.
Right.
But pinning down exactly who he is, that's tough because his career is just so incredibly broad. He's like the ultimate comedy chameleon.
Yeah, he really operates in these two almost completely separate comedic worlds at the same time.
Mhm.
And that duality is what's really striking. I mean, on one hand, you've got Glaser, the mainstream guy, the Emmy-nominated writer, helped shape Conan's show for, what, a decade?
Yeah, a long time.
But then there's the other side, the, deep, absurdist Glaser, creating these super niche, really high-concept, kind of surreal shows, for Adult Swim, truTV.
Exactly. So our mission today for you listening is basically to connect those dots. We want to figure out how one person, one comedic mind, can swing so effectively between writing jokes for millions on late night and then, spend years wearing a ski mask for his own weird reality show parody. We're really digging into the identity of the guy who gave us both Councilman Jeremy Jam.
Oh, Jam.
And that super committed one-song Billy Joel cover band.
Right. So let's start with the stuff people probably know best, kind of lay the foundation. He got those 5 Emmy nods with the Conan writing team, which is huge. Obviously created and starred in Delocated and Neon Joe, Werewolf Hunter over on Adult Swim. Bizarre stuff.
Oddly bizarre.
And then Jon Glaser Loves Gear on truTV, that mockumentary.
Right. And we also, crucially, we know his face from some massive sitcoms from the last, say, 15 years.
Yeah, the acting roles.
He was Councilman Jeremy Jam on Parks and Rec. Leslie Knope's, ultimate nemesis.
Just relentlessly annoying, perfectly played.
And then layered on Girls, totally different vibe. The recovering addict neighbor kind of brought this weird warmth, actually.
He did. It was surprisingly nuanced. So, yeah, to get how he does all that, we got to go back to the beginning. Where did this unique comedic voice even come from?
Let's do it. The roots.
Okay, so the story doesn't kick off in NYC or LA like you might expect. It starts in the Midwest. Glaser grew up in Southfield, Michigan, a Detroit suburb. Graduated high school there back in '86.
Oh, Michigan.
Yeah, and there's maybe this, Midwestern thing. A certain kind of dry, maybe slightly self-deprecating humor that you can kind of see threading through his work sometimes.
Interesting. Okay, so after high school.
University of Michigan, Ann Arbor. And that seems to be where the comedy bug really bit him hard. He graduated from U of M and right away got involved in college sketch comedy.
Right, the proving grounds.
Exactly. He was apparently a key guy in 2 troupes there, Comedy Company and Just Kidding.
Ah, okay.
And that college setting, it's critical, right? Because you're forced to write, perform, workshop stuff constantly. Sources mention he was performing with other people who went on to do stuff, like John Hein from The Howard Stern Show.
Oh, really? John Hein. Wow.
Yeah. So that whole process of creating together, hashing out ideas, it really laid the groundwork for working in professional writers' rooms later on.
Makes sense. And that collaboration leads directly to probably the single most important step in his development, right?
Yeah.
Chicago, Second City.
Absolutely. If you're looking for the moment where he maybe crystallized this idea that, the best comedy is often the most conceptual and just committed comedy, this is it. He was on the main stage cast there, mid-'90s.
And the mid-'90s Second City. I mean, that was a legendary time.
Oh, totally a golden era. Just think about who he was bouncing ideas off of, performing with. Adam McKay, future SNL head writer, huge director now.
Right.
Rachel Dratch, future SNL icon. Scott Adsit, from Mr. Show, 30 Rock.
That's just a murderer's row of talent. They were just doing standard improv games, I take it.
No, definitely pushing boundaries. And we actually have this, amazing little window into his specific style from back then. There was this award-winning review called Pinata Full of Bees.
Pinata Full of Bees.
Yep.
Great name.
Isn't it? Directed by Tom Giannis. And this show, it really gives you a feel for the early Glaser vibe.
Okay, give us the details. What was so Glaser about it?
Well, the material was just so specific and kind of weird. It wasn't just aiming for laughs. It was aggressively conceptual. Get this, one of Glaser's big pieces in the show was him singing a song.
Okay.
About why it's morally wrong to betray a friendship by pretending you don't have legs just so you can play in a wheelchair basketball league.
Slight pause.
Yeah.
Wow, okay. That's incredibly specific.
Right. But the premise itself is just layers deep. You have to accept so much absurdity just to get to the core joke, which is about, the ethics of faking a disability for sports fraud.
That level of detail and just committing so hard to that ridiculous scenario, That feels very him, treating the absurd with utter seriousness.
Exactly. And the performance itself just kept escalating. The sources say that during the show's climax, Glaser was drumming while wearing a demonic pig mask.
A demonic pig mask, of course.
Yeah, so you get this contrast, right? This really crafted, intellectual, almost meta commentary in one bit, and then just pure, like, visual theatrical weirdness in the next.
But maybe the biggest clue about his future work, the meta stuff, was him interrupting the show.
Yeah, apparently he'd just come out on stage throughout the performance, not really in character in the usual way, but as himself, kind of judging the audience.
Judging them? For what?
For laughing. He'd criticize people for laughing at jokes that he decided were, like, socially irresponsible.
Okay, that is pure meta-comedy right there, breaking the fourth wall to critique the act of watching comedy itself.
Totally. It's comedy about comedy, drawing attention to the whole setup. He wasn't just doing the sketch. He was doing a sketch about the comedian-viewer relationship and then, like, giving the viewer a bad review for how they consumed it.
That instinct, to disrupt things, to challenge the audience and break the expected rhythm, that feels foundational. You see echoes of that all over Delocated, Jon Glaser Loves Gear.
For sure, where the character's own seriousness rubs up against the format itself.
So before he landed the big late-night gig, were there other stops?
Yeah, a few brief early writing jobs, short-lived sketch shows like the Jenny McCarthy Show on MTV.
Oh, wow. Memory unlocked.
And the Dana Carvey Show. Both kind of quick burns, but probably good exposure to the TV production grind.
Right. Any other early TV spots?
He did one appearance, just one, as a correspondent on The Daily Show way back in 2004. But mostly, this early stuff seems like prep work for the big shift, the most kind of stable and mainstream decade he had moving into late night.
Right, the Conan years. That pivot to New York, to late night TV, that was huge for him. A full decade, basically, 1998 to 2008 on late night with Conan O'Brien. That must have provided some serious stability.
Oh, absolutely. Consistent, high-pressure, creative work. He was on screen sometimes, like 31 episodes, they say. But his real impact, the foundational stuff, was in that writer's room. That's where those 5 Emmy nominations came from, being part of that team.
People sometimes gloss over the writing part, but the discipline required for a nightly show, it's intense.
It really is. It's relentless. You're generating and pitching constantly 5 days a week. Topical stuff, original bits. It's not like the slow burn of developing an Adult Swim show. This is structure, deadlines, immediate feedback.
Right.
And that decade of intense discipline, you got to think it influenced how he approached his own stuff later. Learning that even the craziest idea needs some structure, some way to sell it in a pitch meeting.
It's like those two sides of his brain we talked about, right? The side writing structured Conan bits and the side wanting to wear a demonic pig mask.
Exactly. The Conan years probably trained him to take that anarchic energy and package it, make it work commercially.
And that mainstream visibility, being part of that successful show, that must have helped open doors for the big acting roles later.
For sure. The move from being primarily behind the scenes to being a face people recognized, that was definitely driven by those key sitcom roles. And the one most people probably picture instantly is Councilman Jeremy Jam.
Oh, Jam, Parks and Recreation. He was just the perfect antagonist.
Wasn't he? Showed up in 18 episodes, seasons 5 and 6, just became Leslie Knope's #1 most infuriating rival.
So smug, so petty, obsessed with his tiny bit of power, and that catchphrase.
You just got jammed. Yeah, he nailed that character.
And if you break down Jam, like you said before, he's kind of a mainstream version of that earlier performance style.
Totally. He's a character who takes himself so seriously, completely blind to how ridiculous he is, obsessed with the tiniest details in his case, like town council rules.
He treats arguing about zoning like it's a life or death battle.
And that commitment, that intensity applied to something so mundane, that's where the comedy comes from. It's comedic gold.
But then, almost at the same time, he shows up on a completely different kind of show, demonstrating serious range. Girls.
Right. Laird Schlesinger on HBO's Girls appeared across 12 episodes, seasons 2 through 4.
And Laird couldn't be more different from Jam.
Not at all. Hannah's neighbor, recovering addict, sculptor, kind of vulnerable, really quirky, often saying totally inappropriate things or crossing boundaries.
Yeah.
But that role needed a much more grounded performance. It wasn't broad comedy. He was playing this complicated, kind of fragile person.
It really showed he had dramatic chops. The characters he plays, even the ridiculous ones, they always feel like real, specific people, not just cartoons.
Exactly. And even while doing these big acting roles, he kept his hand in writing, contributing to Inside Amy Schumer.
Right. writing and performing on there for quite a span, actually. 5 episodes between 2013 and 2022.
And you'd see him pop up in other places, too, those great guest spots like the doorman on Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Classic Herb role.
Mike on 30 Rock. He played a character named John on Louie, just sort of cementing his place as a key player in that whole New York comedy scene.
We should probably quickly touch on his film work, too, because even in smaller parts, you see that versatility. Way back in 2001, he was in Pootie Tang.
Yeah, as a recording engineer, sometimes credited as Jon Glaser with the bloat.
Huh.
Okay.
Then School for Scoundrels in 2006, he played Ernie.
And a really memorable one for movie nerds, especially physical media fans. Be Kind Rewind in 2008. He was the West Coast video guy in New York.
Oh, right. Perfect casting.
Then jumping ahead, he's in big comedies like Trainwreck as Schultz in 2015. And then more recently, showing he's now this sought-after character actor, he was in that huge movie Don't Look Up, credited simply as Meow Man.
Meow Man, of course.
Yeah.
Even his small roles are kind of weirdly specific and intriguing.
Exactly. And these mainstream gigs, they give him the visibility, maybe the financial freedom, too, to really pursue his true passion project. That completely out there, creator-driven stuff.
Yeah, that's the big question, isn't it? How does a writer who's disciplined enough for the nightly grind of Conan suddenly switch gears into the just glorious weirdness of Adult Swim?
Right. It leads us right into what you called the creator's corner, where Glaser is fully in charge, and you have to start with Delocated.
Oh, absolutely. Delocated feels like his definitive statement piece.
It really does. His creation for Adult Swim, live-action show about John, a guy in witness protection.
Okay, standard enough premise.
But he also has his own reality TV show.
Right. There it is. The central contradiction.
Exactly. The whole point of witness protection is secrecy, anonymity. The whole point of a reality show is total exposure, manufactured drama. The comedy lives entirely in that impossible conflict.
And he commits physically to the bit, too.
Totally. To stay anonymous while starring in his own show, John wears a black ski mask constantly and uses a voice changer. And crucially, the show never treats the mask like a joke. It's presented as absolutely necessary for his safety. All the drama around the absurdity is played completely straight.
That commitment again, just leaning all the way into the impossible premise. That's why it worked. It ran for, what, 30 episodes? Final one in March 2013. It's a pretty good run for something so niche.
It really is. And the character John kind of took on a life of its own outside the show.
Yeah, how so?
Well, that's where you see the cult status. The character John from Delocated actually appeared as a DJ in a video game. Saints Row, the third, on the Adult Swim radio station in the game.
No way. That's amazing. Talk about cross-media synergy.
Right. But the absolute peak of committing to the bit, where it crossed into the mainstream, the Subway commercials.
Oh my God, yes, I remember those. February 2012, he did a series of national Subway ads as the Delocated character.
Ski mask, voice changer, the whole deal. Pitching sandwiches.
Just think about that pitch meeting. Okay, so our spokesman is going to be this surreal, masked guy who's technically a fugitive in witness protection.
And he's going to talk about the $5 footlong with complete deadpan seriousness.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. It takes that absurdist philosophy and somehow makes it palatable for a massive corporate brand.
That's the genius of it, making the utterly bizarre feel totally normal within his own warped logic.
So after Delocated wrapped, he didn't leave Adult Swim entirely. He did another high-concept thing, Neon Joe, Werewolf Hunter.
Right, the miniseries. Premiered December 2015. The title kind of says it all, doesn't it?
Pretty much. Pure genre parody, late-night Adult Swim vibe. Character who takes his ridiculous job way too seriously. Classic Glaser territory.
Then he shifted platforms for Jon Glaser Loves Gear.
Yeah, over to truTV for that mockumentary series. Started October 2016, ran 13 episodes, and it definitely continued that theme, playing a super self-serious character, but this time in a real-world documentary-style setting.
And the focus was gear.
Yeah, his character's passionate, obsessive, often kind of hilariously intense love for gear, like camping stuff, workout gadgets, anything specialized and probably unnecessary.
So like a parody of influencer culture and consumerism.
Exactly, that obsession with having the right specialized equipment. And the sources point out something interesting about the character description.
What's that?
They say he plays a character who isn't a douchebag, but he plays one on TV, which highlights that performer versus performance thing again.
Right, he's using that fake documentary style to critique the vanity and self-importance that can come with that whole gear culture. It's specific observational humor, but wrapped up in his usual committed performance.
Very specific.
We should probably give a quick nod to his earlier web series work, too, right? Didn't he do something called Tiny Hands?
Yeah, for Comedy Central, also shown on Adam TV, it kind of foreshadowed him taking control and using different platforms to get his very particular brand of comedy out there early on. Hashtag V, collaboration, voices, and comedy music projects.
Okay, so that willingness to partner up, especially with people who kind of share that specific, maybe niche sensibility, that seems really key to his career. And the biggest collaboration has to be with H. Jon Benjamin, right?
Oh, absolutely. Their partnership goes way back. Live shows, animations, sketches, they definitely share an aesthetic. That sort of dry, sometimes confrontational, always committed to the bit style.
Didn't they have a live show in New York?
Yeah, called Midnight Pajama Jam. And apparently when they did stand-up, they often did it as a duo. But instead of, like, normal sets, they'd just perform as characters who would bicker and argue with each other on stage the whole time.
Huh. Okay, again, it's meta. The comedy is about the performance itself, the friction between them, messing with what the audience expects.
Exactly. And Glaser popped up on Benjamin's own projects, too. Like, he was PBT, Nathan Glaser on Jon Benjamin Has Van.
Right. But beyond the live stuff, Glaser's voice acting career is... wow. It's huge. He's done so much animation work.
He really is a voice acting workhorse. It lets him explore all these different worlds without even needing to show his face.
He was the lead in Stroker and Hoop, right? On Adult Swim.
Yep. Played Stroker, a.k.a. John Strockmeyer. And maybe the most perfectly Glaser-esque Adult Swim role, lead voice as DJ Jesus in Lucy, the daughter of the devil.
DJ Jesus. It has to be heard to be believed, probably. That mix of sacred and just... ridiculous.
Total Adult Swim sweet spot. And he's all over that network's other classics, too. Voices on Aqua Teen Hunger Force, Oog, Jerry, CIA Agent, #2.
Wow.
And he's done a good amount on the Fox animation side, too, like multiple characters over the years on Bob's Burgers.
Okay, so a really versatile voice actor. Any other big ones?
Oh, yeah, tons. Hojo on TV, Funhouse, roles in Freak Show, Trip Tank. He was Whitney on Archer.
Archer.
Makes sense.
More recently, doing political satire voices, Larry Kudlow on our cartoon president, Mark Taliano on Dicktown. It's just a massive list. He clearly brings that same specific character energy just to his voice.
But now we have to talk about the comedy music projects, because this feels like where the whole commitment to the bit thing reaches its absolute zenith. It's almost performance art.
It really is. Okay, first, the slightly more, let's say, structured one. Detroit Octane.
Detroit Octane. Yeah.
Glaser was the lead singer, NYC comedy band, and they hit a big milestone. They performed on Conan back in June 2008.
Do what?
Singing their song Barack Obama Assistable.
Chuckles, okay. Sung to the tune of
Robert Palmer's Simply Irresistible, just forcing these political complimentary lyrics onto that existing structure.
Right, okay, that's a classic musical parody format. Funny, but structured. But then there's a matter of trust. Ah, yes, this project is legendary among comedy nerds. Glaser on bass, and the rest of the band. H. Jon Benjamin, Todd Barry, Tom Shillue, just an incredible lineup.
Wow. Okay, so what was the gimmick? Because there had to be one.
Oh, there was, and it was beautifully, punishingly simple. The band only played one song, Billy Joel's A Matter of Trust.
Wait, only that song?
Only that song, over and over. They refused to play anything else. No matter where they were playing, who asked, nothing. They treated this highly conceptual joke like it was the most serious musical endeavor ever.
That is intense. The joke isn't just the song choice, it's the refusal.
Exactly. The humor is in the audience's confusion, their expectation, the band's absolute refusal to give them anything else, and just the sheer grinding repetition. It forces you to think about what performance even is.
And the ultimate proof that they sold this crazy idea.
They opened for the New Pornographers, a real respected indie band, in 2006. They took their one-song joke onto a legitimate stage and just did it. Never broke character.
That perfectly encapsulates the whole thing, doesn't it? The level of sheer conviction you need to stand there, playing the same Billy Joel riff repeatedly while people expect rock music. It's the exact same conviction he needs to sell a guy in a ski mask on a reality show, or the bureaucratic fury of Councilman Jam. The commitment is the constant, whether the situation is absurd or kind of boring. #BeSay. Synthesis and final thoughts.
So, yeah, as we try to wrap our heads around this whole incredibly varied career, we should mention he's done stuff off-screen, too. He wrote a book, right?
Yeah, My Dead Dad was in ZZ Top, came out back in 2011. And even the title kind of hints at that blend of maybe personal, maybe completely fabricated high-concept stuff.
Totally. Sounds like his brand. And he stays connected to the comedy world, too. Like he did Ken Reed's TV Guidance Counselor podcast live at the Eugene Merman Comedy Festival in 2015. He seems engaged with analyzing the craft.
Right. Now, just a couple of quick personal notes, kind of ground the guy behind the characters. He's married, has 2 kids, a son and a daughter, lived in Park Slope, Brooklyn for a while, which fits that New York comedy scene vibe.
Yep.
And showing some hometown pride, he's apparently a fan of Detroit City FC.
Nice. So, summing it all up, that diversity really is his defining feature, his superpower almost.
Yeah.
He moves easily between sketch, improv, writing, sitcoms, animation.
Yeah.
But the thing that ties it all together is that ability to just fully commit, to find the absolute conviction for a role, whether it's hilarious or surprisingly serious.
He does take on a lot of roles that need that. Characters who are super self-serious or antagonists or just totally lacking self-awareness. And maybe that ability to just disappear into that conviction is why he's getting more and more serious roles lately.
I think so. Look at some of the recent stuff that shows that dramatic side. 2019, he was Tobias on Mr. Robot, highly acclaimed drama.
Right.
Then in 2022, completely different gear, he played Jackson Wright on Law & Order, SVU, straight up network drama.
Wow, SVU, okay.
And just last year, 2023, he was Steve, the CIA disguise maker in White House Plumbers, that HBO limited series.
A CIA disguise maker, again, kind of niche, requires that serious, focused commitment to a slightly absurd job.
Yeah. And he keeps mixing it up. He was Gerald on Life and Beth, Nathaniel on Single Drunk Female in 2022. But then he'll also bring that specific energy back to pure comedy, like playing the sports demon on What We Do in the Shadows or Jeremy Lefkowitz on Ghosts just this year.
It's just a wild trajectory. From like drumming in a demonic pig mask in Chicago to writing jokes for Conan to getting jammed by Leslie Knope and now playing CIA guys in serious dramas.
It really is unique. Which leads us to that final thought, the thing for you, the listener, to chew on.
Sure.
Considering Glaser's deep, deep roots in that really conceptual, almost performance art comedy, the weird Second City stuff, the one-song Billy Joel band, how does he pull it off? How does he switch so effectively to playing these convincing, straight-faced, serious characters or mainstream villains? Is it maybe because the best comedians aren't just funny people? Is it that they're actually incredibly skilled dramatic actors at their core? Because they fundamentally understand what it takes, that absolute unwavering conviction to inhabit any persona and make you believe it, whether that persona is a drumming demonic pig or a ruthless city councilman.